Looking good, Italian Job.
Feeling good, Tommy boy. I would like to go and point out before I say anything else, impeccable style. I like that shirt.
And those threads are awesome. There's only a handful of these shirts across the nation. Only 6 here in Greensboro. We got to change that number, but that gives everybody. Let's not even mention what the shirt is. Let's make guys tune in to YouTube because, guys, the Stuff Worth Trying podcast is also a YouTube show, and so if your curiosity is getting the best of you, you got to tune in on YouTube, brothers.
I would like to point out that was a smooth plug. You are smooth as silk, my friend. Very well.
Let me
done.
hop on my Segway and scoot right over here. Well, how's your week, man? Give me the that one up, one down.
Well, let me go and start off by saying happy birthday, a few days late.
Thank you, sir.
Here's a one up. You're 1 year older, my friend. So good on you, man. So
That's
what does that
indeed.
make you? 29 again?
Yeah, something like that. I am celebrating the 30th anniversary of my 16th birthday.
There you go. There you
Yep.
go. So happy birthday.
Thanks, brother.
Yeah, man. Always an honor to spend some time with you this morning. So I'm going to share kind of a one down / one up. I saw a Facebook post from a non-F3 guy
Mhm.
who basically said, hey, I'm putting this out there because I need you guys to know it so you can hold me accountable. I've gained a lot of weight. I haven't been the husband I need to be. I haven't been the dad I need to be. I'm too invested in my job. I am lazy. I don't have friends, and I need you guys to hold me accountable. And as any good F3 guy would do, I called him. I said,
Nice.
Brian, what's going on, man? He said, I feel like I'm lost. And I said, what are you doing about it? What are you going to do about it? And he said, I'm going to do the Whole30 diet with my wife. I said, that's great. What are you going to do to hold yourself accountable? He said, my wife's going to hold me accountable. I said, stop right there. You and your wife are doing this together. That's phenomenal. Hold each other accountable. You need someone outside. You need a group of men who are going to keep you accountable. I said, what you need is a group of men who love you, who are going to support you, and who are going to be there for you. And he said, you're going to tell me about F3 again, aren't you? I said, yeah, it works. But your story is not unlike any other man's story.
Absolutely.
At this age, you've lost track of your college buddies. You are now dad and husband and employee number, whatever it is. This is the stage of life you're in. It will not get better if you try it on your own. You're going to need other men to support you. Now, I have not gotten him to come out to an F3 workout yet.
Yeah.
But I know for a fact that we have the cure for what ails the men of this world, and the situation that this gentleman's in. And I hope to report back in the new year that Brian's got an F3 name and that he's trudging along and becoming the high impact man that I know he is deep in his heart. So that's a one up and a one down. It's kind of sad to hear it, but I know that he's recognized it and now he's going to take it the next step. So I'll report back in the new year on that. How about you, man? One up, one down. Talk to me.
Yeah, well, first of all, good on him for having the cojones to put it even out there publicly like that. And I hope that he does take you up on the offer. Because like you said, it just works. It just flat out works.
Yeah.
One down actually became up. We chatted about it quickly, but have an F3 brother in Greensboro who's going through a lot with his family, just medical stuff, to put it very lightly, and is kind of tethered to the house. But to watch the guys rally around him, he can't get out the door because he's got 2 beautiful girls. He's got to get out to school and get them all off and away while his wife is tending to her health. And so we brought the AO to him. So we've created a pop-up AO just called the Rally Cry. It's a sandbag workout, ruck workout kind of themed, and we knock it out in 30 minutes or less sometimes. But at the end of the day, it's just about being there for him. And then ideally, sooner than later, we don't have to have the Rally Cry at his garage or his driveway anymore. And hopefully we can move it to another one. So, it's always a bummer to see a brother hurting. Right.
Yeah.
But I was grateful to see it turn into something good. And also, and this is a little bit of a segue, but I love the creativity of the guys across F3 Nation. I showed up to a Thursday workout, a guy named Bushwood, who I think the world of, because he's a sunshine bazooka. He's just infectious and creative. He challenged us all to put on our worst Christmas get-ups, right, and sweaters and all that stuff. And we toured the holiday sites and stopped and took Christmas card pictures at all these places.
That's great.
Doing some exercises, and really just just had a blast. I mean, we got some work put in, which was awesome, and he snuck it in on us. But just the creativity that a Q, well, I should let him back up. Not just the creativity, but the love that a guy puts in to make sure that other guys are taken care of out in the gloom, right?
Yeah.
Carving time out of his day away from his family just to make sure the guys get a good workout in, and in this case some awesome fellowship. I applaud anybody who puts their name down on that cue sheet. So one down, one up, there you go, which takes us nicely into our topic for today. And man, I was fired up when I read the News of the Nation email that hit my inbox. We're recording on Friday this week. Talk about creativity and guys that love one another and pay it forward. So today we're going to talk a little bit about, just to celebrate and recognize some of the major impact and the invigoration that's happening across the planet. So why don't you start us off? Because I know that you were neck deep in all of the good news that was coming out of
Absolutely. Nation. Yeah, I appreciate it. So for those who haven't seen the News of the Nation, get on the email list or let us know if you haven't seen it. We'll send you a link so you can subscribe to the newsletter. So what we did was I reached out to just blanketly put it out there. What's going on in your region? And we had over 40 responses within 12 hours of men who said, here are the things that we're doing. None of them said, here's what we're doing fitness wise. It was all about fellowship and faith. And guys, we say this all the time. We are a leadership group disguised as a fitness group. The fitness is what brings the guys out, but what keeps the guys coming back is the fellowship and the faith element. And to see the impact that's happening worldwide because men are invested. And what I like to say is they're stepping in when everyone else steps out. So seeing this stuff was just, if you don't see any newsletter throughout the course of the year, that's the one you want to see. That's the one you want to share with people who say, what's F3 all about? And I'm going to run down a few of these. And Tommy Boy, we'll just kind of talk about them as we go. And I'm going to mention them as I saw them as they came through, and want to use this as an opportunity, one, to celebrate with these regions and recognize the efforts they're putting forward. And two, to provide a little bit of ideas for your region, things that you can do to serve your community. So the first one I saw was Mint Hill, North Carolina, served breakfast to the town employees. These F3 men went to the local community center, made breakfast for the town employees. We're talking folks who do city planning, police, fire, medic, folks who just serve their communities. And the F3 men in Mint Hill, North Carolina, served breakfast to town employees. Naperville and Charlotte Metro both had a Free to Bleed campaign, a community blood drive. That's one of those things that we don't think about too often. We are literally pumped full of life-saving substance that, especially in times of tragedy, are needed. And there are many regions around the nation who've stepped up for blood drives. And to see that these men were there with their wives, or they were EHing the men who were already in line waiting to give that weren't even part of F3. I mean, always EHing. F3 Alpha, that's outside of Atlanta, Georgia. They gathered together and sorted donations for the North Fulton community charities. 150 people, F3, 150 family members, 3,500 pounds of food and nearly 1,000 toys donated. And here's the cool thing. Many of those toys that were donated via ruck. These guys packed the rucks full of toys and rucked for miles to get to this location.
Well, that takes us to because if you guys aren't on Twitter, get on Twitter and look at these pictures, because some of these pictures are phenomenal. The one that caught my attention was the next one on our list, which was Cape Fear. Both F3 and FIA, or as we like to call it here in Greensboro, F3, joined together, and they did a reindeer ruck as their first annual one. And man, this picture is amazing. I don't know if it's a drone shot or somebody climbed a tree and took a picture, but it is a huge crowd of people that gathered together and collected a whole bunch of toys. They built a sleigh to honor lives that were lost. Sadly, a lot of 2.0s. And that's, it's a huge downer. However, what a way to validate the hurt and show the love for people who are experiencing loss this time of year. What was it, a 4-mile round trip, Ruck? They dropped off a ton of gifts to the police station, probably doing a Toys for Tot collection, I would imagine.
Yep.
But yeah, 32 packs in their families. I mean, that's a massive number.
Yeah. And from my understanding, the local like news crew just happened to drive by and see it. And they said, you know what, let's video this. Because how often do you see a group of 32 people carrying a sleigh full of toys, literally on their shoulders, carrying it to the police department?
Just like that, they've changed the tone of the news that day, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you want to talk about invigorating community leadership? Boom, right there. Now, it may be a piece that's buried towards the end of the newscast. I don't care. It's those baby steps that start to change the tide. So good for them for shifting the tone of their entire community.
I think one of my favorite ones on this list happened in Mooresville, North Carolina. They call it Race City. And for those who don't know why it's called Race City, Mooresville, North Carolina, I know this because my parents live there, but Mooresville, North Carolina has tons of NASCAR race shops. They even have a NASCAR training facility for people who want to work on engines and want to learn the engineering of racing. So Race City is what they call it. So they have an annual event where the police department gets together and they raise funds and they take children who otherwise would not have Christmas gifts. They literally take them Christmas shopping. And so the men of Race City did a bowling event, raised $15,000 of the $16,000 that was raised, the total $16,000, they raised $15,000 of it.
Outstanding.
And the picture that they have is of the police department, all these officers in their uniforms lined up in front of Target with children in front of them. So the men of Race City literally donated the money and sat back and watched as the police officers took these children shopping. And here's I'm telling you, man, I've got goosebumps.
No doubt.
So Mooresville PD did not have to pay out of their pockets for this. They helped a record number of kids. And what they said was watching the officers shopping with the little kids was a blast. You want to talk about living third? These men raised the money and then sat back and watched, got none of the credit, and did it because it was the right thing to do. Goosebumps.
Well, and I'll tell you what, too, and I sound like a broken record, but for all the right reasons, man.
Yeah.
I mean, the entire nation has this rift between citizen and citizen and civil servants right now. And man, these kids get to see people who have stepped up to lead and protect and serve in the way that fundamentally that role should be seen, that they're a safe haven, that they're there to help. And like you said, the guys who made it happen and made sure that the officers didn't have to pay out of pocket, just standing back in the shadows, grinning from ear to ear, I hope. And went home and had a big smile on their face. So outstanding work again. And I'm going to probably say this a million times, but this is how we invigorate male community leadership. We change the tone, and sometimes nobody even knows we did it. And in fact, if we're doing it right, they probably should know that we're doing it. So well done, guys.
So the men of F3 Charleston were a blessing in their community. They collected children's coats, their hats, gloves, scarves, and they wanted to give a T-clap out to 575, Teen Wolf, and Huggies for their love in the community. They noticed that these kids needed these things, and so they went and got them.
That's outstanding. Yeah, I love this one because it takes me back to being a kid. My dad was an Old Spice guy, but the guys in Suncoast, which is great, right? Use their cafeteria. They wrap over 75 Old Spice kits for their fellowship evening with the men and the residents of the Salvation Army Bradenton. I mean, what a great gift just to remind somebody that they're a person, right? And they matter. It's those little creature comforts that a lot of these folks that are experiencing this kind of hardship or homelessness and so on and so forth, right? Just a simple little gift that really can change. And what was this, the fourth
year?
Yeah, the fourth year. So they're invested in this community of guys, and then the residents of that Salvation Army. So that was huge. And I'm a former left coaster, so getting to see the Gold Rush pop up on this list. I'm a Fremont boy myself, but delivered 2 trucks full of Let me say that again. 2 trucks full of canned goods to Better Living Center's community outreach. And if I'm reading this right, that effort will feed over 80 families for the holidays. That's massive. That is massive.
So you guys have heard about the recent tornadoes that have happened in the state of Kentucky. the men of Louisville and Lexington are in the midst of it. They're delivering the needed help for those who are ravished. There are men across the nation who have dropped what they're doing to go to Kentucky. I'm not saying that I didn't see it specifically, but I know that there are men from all over the country who are going to Kentucky right now to step in because there's a need. But Louisville and Lexington are intimately involved. Their areas were not hit directly, but their community is the state, and they're going to serve, and they're going to be sure to be there for them. So big shout out to those guys, and prayers, T-claps, and taps for those who were affected by the storms.
No doubt. And guys, don't be afraid to speak up if you need a hand. You've got literally hundreds of thousands of men that want to help. So don't be shy, or don't be frustrated either. If you don't hear people come running, it's sometimes we're just too thick-headed. So speak up and ask for help. I mean, look, we can go on and on and on. Omaha's doing great stuff. F3 Denver is helping with those cool modular pods that are helping folks that are experiencing homelessness. Here down the road in Gastonia, they're collecting and handing out safety bags for the homeless, just personal hygiene stuff. And I shouldn't even say just, right? But I think oftentimes, I know I'm guilty of overthinking and over-engineering a way to help, right? And you mentioned the blood drive and the nationwide, globe-wide Free to Bleed campaign. That was kind of my first entrance back into trying to live a life of servant leadership.
I love the one in Gastonia because these guys took 2-gallon bags and just filled them full, and they were able to hand those out. And this was a year-long collection. This wasn't hey guys, let's just throw it together last minute. This was thought through, meaning they were able to pull together 100 of these bags full of love. Let's just call it love. And they were able to pull that together. We hear about these events where rucks, where men will empty their packs of their weights and they'll load them up with canned goods. F3 Southport just recently did that, benefiting Matthew's Ministry. They took their ruck plates out, filled it up with canned goods. Matthew's Ministry is a local food security backpack program for school children needing food at home on the weekends and when school's not in session. So you think about that. There are children in your local community, the only time that they have food is when they go to school for breakfast or for lunch. And this ministry provides the food for the weekends, the holidays, and the men there in Southport were a part of it. And that's awesome.
Yeah. And I mean, it reminds me of the guys who show up every day at schools across the country just to welcome the kids in, right? A positive male role model from the jump when they step off the bus and welcome them into school. So, big group efforts, right? But then our own, Fray Daddy, once again, crushed the Oakwood 24 endurance race. That's in Raleigh. It surpassed, if I'm not mistaken, its fundraising goal. The goal was 120,000.
Local F3. F3 locally raised over $78,000. $78,000.
Let's freaking go.
Oh man.
Yeah. And it's a effort to raise money, but then also the endurance just to run. I mean, that is a heck of a race.
Yeah.
And again, shines a light on an opportunity that we can impact positively for transition for those who are struggling. In this case, it's addiction. And it shines a light on the need for validation.
How many of these regions have we heard about who've adopted like the Angel Trees or the local elementary schools? I know Columbus recently adopted some local elementary school families for the holidays. F3 Jacksonville, this one is awesome, and it matters because I've seen this happen in other regions, but the F3 Jacksonville guys they're committed to their community. And what they do is they serve breakfast every Friday morning at the Trinity Rescue Mission for the homeless. And they work alongside the men that are part of the addiction recovery program. Over the years, they've raised thousands. I don't have a number, but I know it's thousands of dollars in their CSOPs and other events. They've redone the kitchen appliances, the floor, the racking system for the freezer. Basically, what they do is they invest money and time. And here's the cool part. Check Please, who's a PAX down there, he started a Saturday AO with the Trinity Long-Term Recovery Program. They call it The Farm. And they said that the COT, the stories and prayers, are priceless. So not
I'm
only did they
sure.
invest a couple of dollars here and there, they invested their time. And as you said, they're treating these men like they're valuable men, and all men, regardless of status in the community, are valuable men. And Jacksonville said, hey, brother, I'm going to come right beside you and we're going to do this thing together.
Sounds to
Big
me
time
like
shout out to
Jacksonville
those
is
guys.
living out the credo, if I'm not
You got that
mistaken.
right. You got
That's
that
phenomenal.
right.
My family is also from Dayton, so I got to shout out F3 Dayton, adopting a single mother of two for the holiday season. She's a teacher, a service member for the National Guard. They leaned in, collected new presents, gift cards, just basically stocked this entire family, and they're going to deliver this Saturday along with a meal for everybody.
How cool is that?
I mean, that's just how we get it done. I mean, I love that. My favorite part is just the meal, because nothing's more intimate when you're trying to lift somebody up is than breaking bread with that person, right?
So I read one about F3 Dangle in Wilson, North Carolina. His wife said, you know what? You think the guys could raise a few $100s so we can, help out some of these families, these sponsor kids, get them some Christmas? He was like, I mean, I'll bring it up. So he brings it up in the COT. And he said, you know what, for every dollar that's raised, I'm going to do a burpee. They're now over $1,700. So let's go ahead and say some prayers for Dangle, because he's going to be busy with 1,700 burpees, but they're going to be able to provide 17 kids Christmas. 17 kids are going to have Christmas because someone's said, you think we can get $300? And guess what the guy said? Challenge accepted. Let's do this.
Yeah, right. It just takes one, right? It just takes one. Makes me think of the quote that I put out earlier this week, but one true act of kindness always begets another one. And I guarantee that Dangle's efforts are going to radiate and create a ripple effect, because this is definitely something that happened organically, and something like that just doesn't go away.
That's right. I want to shout out to the regions that I'm closest to down here in the Fort Mill, South Carolina area. So they sponsor something every year called the Dan to Dan 10K. They also mow grass for a local food pantry. They do turkey drives at Thanksgiving, ham drives at Christmas. They stuff the bus every year with school supplies for teachers in the community. They raise funds annually for local charities through golf tournaments. And right now they've got a bourbon raffle going on. We're talking, when I say they raise money, I'm talking thousands, and their goals are astronomical. Like, I don't know, $100,000. And guess what? They hit it. They do that. They do that every year. Same thing with the guys in the Rock region in Rock Hill, South Carolina. There were two families that were affected this year. One of them has some financial troubles, and he has no idea what's coming his way. Another family member, his sister passed away, and there was no way to provide Christmas. And so someone said, hey, we're just going to collect some money. And at this point, over $2,000 has come in, because these kids need a Christmas, and the men of F3 want to make sure that they have it. So big shout out to the Rock region. The Lake Wiley guys, high impact men. Lake Wiley and Rock Hill both volunteer at least one day a month at the Bethel Men's Shelter. And what they do is they prepare a meal, and then they sit down and have the meal with the men at the men's shelter. The Rock region's collecting gloves, hats, jackets, and they're going to provide all that stuff on Saturday to the men's shelter. But one of the things I really love about what Lake Wiley does, not only do they support the men's shelter, they collect feminine hygiene products for the local women's shelter. And guys, from what my understanding is, when women find these products at a food pantry, it's like gold, because they're just difficult. First off, they're expensive. Second off, they're hard to come by. And what I love most about it, these are burly men who are going to that aisle, the one we avoid. Yeah, they load up a shopping cart, and they take it and say, hey, you've been neglected and a man has abused you, but you know what? I love you, and I want to give you this. And dude, that we try to shape the next group of leaders and young men. But not only that, we're showing these young men what it takes to love a woman and how to treat a woman. And that's first line of defense. The dads in F3 are doing this for the women, and they're showing these women that you are loved and you did not deserve that abuse. And I love it, man.
Yeah. And, well, let's you made me think of something that I think is rather important. Just ask me and I'll tell you. But
Mhm.
before that, our man Dos Equis and Scar U up in Princeton, stocking the local food pantry. Guys, hunger should not be a thing, especially
Yeah.
in this country, but it
Yeah.
is. And so you've heard us mention a few times, packing rucks, stocking pantries. That's unfortunately always a need, and a great way to lean into your fitness while doing it. So you're
Mhm.
knocking out all three F's with one kind act. So kudos to Princeton, and then Blue Rhino and his troops down in F3 Lexington. And what was the other one? I'm missing somebody though. Blue Rhino and the guys down in, was it just Lexington, or I feel like I'm
Yeah,
forgetting
Lexington,
somebody.
South Carolina. Their
Yeah,
AO F3 detention.
thank you.
They were the ones who kind of pulled this together, raised over $1,300 to provide Christmas for 6 kids who might not have had one.
I mean, that's huge. So let me ask you this, Italian Job. How much did you pay to experience F3 this month?
This month, let me. I got to carry the one
Yep.
$0 American dollars.
And so over time, how does that trend based on what you spent the month before?
Oh, let
To
me
be a
see.
member.
So 9 years of
Yeah.
F3 dues. Also $0 American dollars.
$0. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we don't own it. I'm going to quote Hello Kitty because I love this one. We don't own it, which means we can't keep it, which means we're called to give it away. I'm a product of a teacher family. My mom taught in the school system for as long as I can remember. You hear us say a lot that we're different. F3 is different. Well, one is F3 is free. So we just talked about that one. I turned on the TV earlier this week. I'm sure we've all seen it. I think it was a hockey game. All I know is that there were a bunch of teachers scrambling for $1 bills on a rug and trying to stuff their pockets full of these dollars in front of an audience that's just treating it like it's a gladiator fight. Teachers should not have to do that. It was gross. It made me so angry to see somebody promote a hockey team or whatever business sponsored that garbage and made teachers crawl on the ground and scoop up dollar bills. We just read through a list of guys without being asked, step up, raise money, raise food, raise supplies, and gave it away. Not for recognition, but because it's what we're supposed to be doing.
Now this
F3
this is 30 something of top of mind things that have come up. I know for a fact there are thousands of PACs across the world who are doing things that are not on this list. But I know that they're making an impact in their communities. And like you said, this right here is, if you think about it, and this doesn't even mention the fact that over $300,000 was raised in the Give to Give campaign through the foundation for future service events that we can serve our communities. We're talking $300,000. The cheapest gym that I know of is Planet Fitness, and it would cost $10 a month once you pay whatever their fee is up front, $19 or whatever. $10 a month is pretty dang cheap to go work out on some equipment. This morning, as we were working out, we worked out in the Planet Fitness parking lot.
Nice.
It cost us nothing. Let's just say that you've been a part of F3 for 1 year and you've saved $120 in this 1 year just from going to Planet Fitness. Heck, if you go to the Y, it's a minimum of $50 per month.
Yep.
So, extrapolate that out. That's significantly more than your $120. You've spent nothing. And when someone says, hey man, I'd like to support insert local cause, that always encourages me. It's not expected. It's not a requirement, but all of a sudden you look down and next thing you know, there's $1,000, $500, $2,000, because men say, if I've got it to give, I'm going to give it. And that's what it's all about. And that's what excites me every time this time of year towards the holidays. There's always a need in the men of F3 without looking for recognition, without banging their chest. They say, oh, we got this. Challenge accepted. Yep. And I'm honored to be associated with the high impact men of F3 Nation, which we might as well change it to F3 Worldwide because that's where we're going. Yep. Just doing what is necessary to be the men that we need in our communities.
F3 universe, baby.
That's it, buddy.
Yeah. And it completes the circuit. that fundamental act of helping somebody else out. It completes the F3 circuit. We've experienced, we've benefited, we've grown, and now it's our turn to give it away and make sure that it's not for nothing. And that's what builds community. That's what starts the tribe. So guys, well done. Like IJ said, this is just a tip of a very big iceberg. I encourage everybody to go seek out other regions on social media platforms, on Slack, see what they're doing, be inspired. Don't let it stop on December 31st. Keep finding a way to fill a need, because that's what's going to change the world. That's what's going to build the leaders that we need to see so desperately, and turn this tide. So well done. That leads us into our challenge worth trying. And I know we talked about it. We wanted to keep it simple and within the season. So IJ, why don't you share the challenge we're trying this week?
Here's your challenge, man. After you listen to the podcast that you normally listen to, and hopefully, that's quite a few of them throughout the week that are F3 related. If not, that's fine too. Carve out some time to be present. And I think your presence, CE, it should be the present for your family. Your presence is more than enough present for your family. So please be present with your families, with your loved ones, with your friends. Tune out all the distractions of the world and just be in the moment. Experience Christmas again through the eyes of a child, or experience the love that you remember, the love that you know that you need and that others need around you. This holiday season, regardless of how tough things are, let's tune the tough things out and focus instead on the ones that you love, your friends, your family, all the loved ones you have. Be present with them, love on them, make this a great holiday season, and enjoy your time with the ones you love. Tommy boy, I love you, because I know you celebrate Merry Christmas. I hope I hope that you find the love of Christ in your home, and that you're able to share the light with other people in your community, because I know it's in you and I know they need it. And I honor, respect, and love you, brother.
Amen, my friend. I couldn't say it any better, so I'm not even going to try other than to say that I love you as well. It's been a great 14 weeks of recording podcasts. I'm excited to see what the new year is. We're taking a couple of weeks off. We're taking our own advice, right? We're going to be present with our family. I know you have one of 13 trees behind you there in the screenshot.
That's the Panthers tree.
That's right. There you go. Well done. Well done. I don't see Cam Newton on that tree. Oh,
no,
sick burn.
No. That's that tree being upright is about the only victory that we'll see this year in Carolina.
Hey, coming from a Niners fan, I get it. I get it. But listen, keep doing what you're doing. I look forward to seeing your name pop up on my Twitter feed, because I know it's going to be great news, and words and wise words of advice. I'm grateful for our friendship. I'm grateful for our brotherhood. I look forward to doing a lot of crazy, stupid stuff with you in the new year. So Merry Christmas to you, PodPacks. Whatever it is you celebrate this time of year, may it bring you the joy that you deserve, and may you turn right around and spread more of that joy out into the world, because again, we are different and the world needs what we got. That's so right. Fellas, be good, or be good at it. We love you. We can't wait to see you in 2022.